Hey, are we live? I hope so. Good evening, baseball fans, and welcome to Four Collectors. My name is Dan. I have a channel called Dan's Vintage Baseball PC. But today, I'm going to be guest hosting the Four Collectors channel. This will be the second time. First time, I didn't hit go live for the first 8 minutes, so we, we had to start a little late. But tonight, we have a fantastic group of three guys who I feel are crucial people to have on any live stream that's going to be about the National. And this is going to be probably the last one you're ever going to see for this particular National. It's Sunday night at 9 o'clock Eastern. And we promise this will be the last one on this channel. So that's the name of the thing. The last National live stream, we promise. So anyway, let me bring the guests on because they are terrific people for any discussion of the National. Mike Moynihan, how are you, sir?
I'm great. How are you, Dan?
I asked you on because, of course, we had done the trade of me on your show and you on my show, which worked out really well. And I know you do the Thursday night organization of the YouTube get together, which has become a phenomenal event, and I'm looking forward to going to my first. So thank you for coming on. I want to bring on another gentleman who I met for the first time in Strongsville, known as probably the nicest guy in the hobby, but also underrated for the amount of information and experience. And walking around with you at Orlando, at Strongsville, made me think that this is somebody that I want to latch onto when it comes to the National. So thank you for coming on, my friend. And finally,
thank you for inviting me, Dan.
The man who set up what I think is going to be the largest collection of YouTube content creators living together for 4 or 5 days in an Airbnb. Matt, good evening. Thanks for coming on, sir.
Good evening, Dan. Thanks for having me on. How are we doing, guys?
Great.
So here we are. It's Sunday night. So I'm leaving Wednesday morning. I think the rest of you guys are all going Tuesday?
Wednesday for me also.
Wednesday for you. Okay. So I gave us I did a list of questions for everyone, which I thought were, I hope, original enough, because I know guys have done these whole things where they've gone over, wear your sneakers, make sure you have water, all that kind of stuff. I tried to do stuff that that maybe is a little bit out of the ordinary and sort of like last things before you go. So the first question is, one last item you're packing before leaving for the National. Matt?
So this is a little bit, I'm stealing this a little bit from Eric over at those back pages, but I've went out and bought extra t-shirts and socks, like brand new, that I just plan to use for this week only, because I know, look, we're going to be walking around, be a lot of people. It's going to be hot, sweaty. The get-togethers on Thursday and Friday night. So I didn't do it last year, and I regretted it. So I'm going to take that advice this year, and that's what I'm going to do.
Orlando?
I pack light and take everything just in my backpack, just as little as I can. But I just make sure that when I went to my first one in a while was Atlantic City. And I was kind of worried. So I did buy air tags at that time. So I'm going to make sure I have those in my book bag and where I keep my important stuff there. So just to track it, just in case anything happens. But I hear there's going to be a lot of security there. And also, I always take a lot of snacks, little bags of nuts and things like that to carry around with me. And my main thing is, because it's tough to eat there. I know Matt and I had lunch there, but it's expensive. It takes a long time to wait in the lines and all that stuff. So what I try to do is just have a good breakfast before I leave, get a lot of water with me, nuts and stuff so that I can just have. In case I skip lunch, I skip lunch, But I just try to pack as light as I can, and just that kind of stuff. Just to eat is ridiculous sometimes.
Mike?
So.
Oh, sorry. Mike, one last thing you're bringing before you're leaving for the National.
My tripod, my little mini tripod, so I can make sure I have it in the room. I've forgotten it before to shows, and it's annoying to try to set up something to set your camera on to talk, to do recaps and stuff. And so I've got it right here so I do not forget it. So that's my thing. I do agree with the t-shirts, though. I mean, that Matt said, I wear probably 2 or 3 t-shirts a day at the National. And so I've learned to overpack that kind of stuff.
So Mike Petty, bring cash in. Don't forget the checkbook. Mike Petty, I am not bringing my checkbook. That is a dangerous prospect. I watched Mike Petty, as did, I believe, Orlando. Oh, Matt, you were there. Write a very large 5-digit check to Ash in Strongsville. And I said to myself, thank God I don't have my checkbook. You know, you have a budget. I have a budget. You know, I have a family, a good wife who's got lots of her own things. So, Orlando, you mentioned security, and I know Mike, you and Mike Junkwax Hero just did a really good video on security at the National, as you know, as it ties into what happened, the terrible thing that happened to all of our friends in Dallas. And so one of the things I don't remember if it was you, Mike, or Junkwax Hero Mike's brought up the word vigilance. And I thought to myself, that's like, is vigilance something that we're responsible for, or is it something that we think that the security should be responsible for? And honestly, for me, I'm going to be way more vigilant because, you know, security, I'm carrying probably thousands of dollars worth of cards, thousands of dollars worth of cash. And, you know, I can't afford to lose it. Mike, what do you think? I think you might have used the word vigilance. So what were you thinking when you brought that up?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's incumbent upon us to take care of our own stuff. I mean, if you set your backpack down and you forget it, that's not the Nationals' fault. That's your fault. Now, you would hope they would be helpful in trying to retrieve it and recover it and all of that. But you made the mistake. And I mean, truth is, just know where your stuff is. You know, I mean, I don't want to give away too many secrets, but there's ways to be creative in being secure with your stuff. Let's just say that I have some special National underwear that has some pockets. So if you want to get my stuff, you're going to have to get my stuff, if you know what I mean. No.
I'm not so sure to be buying cards from you anymore, Mike.
Yeah, sweaty bills, I think it sounds like, right?
Sweaty bill. No, the thing is, be smart, be vigilant, understand your surroundings, head on a swivel. And I don't mean that in a be worried. Everybody asks me, oh, I'm taking $5,000 or $100 or $1,000. I don't want to be walking around with that much cash. I'm like, dude, if you have $1,000, you're not the target, because there's guys walking around literally with hundreds of thousands of dollars in their backpack, and just don't look like you're that guy, Orlando, as he's carrying around hundreds of thousands of dollars. Unlike but just don't do anything intent. You know, don't bring attention. If you're going to pull out a nice chunk of change, do it in a subtle way. You know, go behind the table, ask the dealer, hey, can we go over here? And they'll do it. They want their money. So, yeah. But the guys that pull out a giant wad and start laying $100 bills for some video that they want to shoot that they're flexing, that's a bunch. You're just making yourself a target. You know, don't do everything not to make, just look like you're a guy with nothing in his wallet, which is how I try to look all the time.
Yeah. I'll just add to that definitely you don't want to have all your cash in one place. You know, I divide my cash up, and what I do have in my wallet, I do keep my wallet in my front pocket, not my back pocket, just in case. If they're going to go reach from the front, they're going to have to, you know, reach for something they're not going to want to touch. So, yeah, because especially me, because I'll be filming some cases. And I'm going to be leaning over, and I don't want anybody reaching in my back pocket, pulling out my wallet. So those are the little things. And yeah, keep your eyes open. I read an article on Sports Collectors Digest that they've gotten together with another security firm that is using virtually all undercover people that are going to be walking the floor at the show. Apart from, they're going to have security actually with weapons walking the floor also. So it looks like they're going to have security, but it's like you say, Dan, you're responsible for your security, Nobody else. You're not gonna. Once your stuff is gone, it's too late. You can blame whoever you want. It's too late.
Yeah, I've already shipped my Glock to my hotel so that I can just wear it, and then I won't. I think Ohio has reciprocal license to carry laws with Texas. We'll find out. No, I think that's overkill.
I'll have to look up criminal defense lawyers in Ohio for you, Mike. That's what I do for a living, but I'm not admitted in Ohio. Matt, security issues you're thinking about while you're there?
Yeah, I think one thing that I would add, I guess, is that a lot of us plan to walk around in groups. I know some folks like John Keating said he's a lone wolf and doesn't really want to walk around with others, but most of us walk around with other people from YouTube, right? So my goal is to make sure we're looking out for one another. Obviously, you're responsible for yourself, but I'll definitely have an eye open for my friends as well to make sure they don't leave anything behind and make sure they have a little bit of cover to your point about walking on the table. If they can't do that, we can always kind of perform a little human shield, if you will, kind of let them pull their money out just, discreetly as possible, right? But some other things is Mike in Orlando, right? I'm planning to have cash in multiple locations. Then obviously there's also Venmo, PayPal, Zelle. Some people will take it. I mean, I'm willing to pay the sales tax. It's like, I don't know, if I get a card on eBay, I have to pay sales tax, right? So I know there's savings, quote unquote, but if it's a card I really want, I'm not worried about 8 or 10%, I guess is what I'm saying, right? So I'd rather have some security. So I won't be bringing much cash that I brought last year just for that reason, personally. But I know most of the dealers will take some form of electronic payment if needed.
Yeah, this is the most I've ever brought to a national. I'm bringing $12. So
4 cards from Mangini. You got it.
All right. That's right, for Mangini cards. $3
and
each.
I do have this great card I'm selling. This awesome for collectors. I mean, I'll give somebody $20 just to take this card.
Yeah, but it won't auto attend, Mike. We can't take that in our collections, right?
I know. We are on the For Collectors channel, so I thought I'd show this off.
I'm pretty sure they're signing. I'm not sure what table they're at. The For Collectors signing.
Well, that was numbered, and it's jersey numbered.
They're too famous now to do the shows, so they brought in like a guy like me to do it because like they're too famous. So it's like Johnny Carson gets a week off. So. Anyway, so the last thing I thought of, and I don't know if this is real or not, I know Dallas had a ton of video and a lot of different cameras, and I thought about casinos, and casinos have this thing with the eye in the sky where they've got somebody actually in a room, and I know the place where I live right now is a community that has security. Then the security, they have an entire room filled with cameras that are hooked up to literally every building in the entire complex. Mm-hmm. So is there an eye in the sky possibility for the National? I mean, is this something that is just crazy thought in my head, or is this something that you think might be real?
Well, that's what it was for the Dallas. That's essentially what they have. They have them up on these big cranes, or not cranes. What are they, Matt? They're like booms, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And they're up in the sky. There's 4 or 5 cameras all facing different directions, and they got.
No, but what I mean is that there's a room with human beings watching those videos.
There isn't in Dallas. They're just recording, right? So,
I think they're doing that because they said they hired private security, and I'm sure they're going to have some way of having little earphone or something to communicate with each other.
Yeah.
Because they have 2 different companies, is what I read on the article there.
Well, that is encouraging because it's the Dallas event was a month ago at this point, or maybe even 3 weeks ago, and I guess the National got their act together. So
I'm just not worried. I literally don't worry about it at all. Do I want to be sharp and vigilant, and I have some personal responsibility? Of course.
Yeah.
But if you can't afford to lose it, don't bring it. That's kind of the, I'm not bringing my Garrick DeLong even to show it off because I don't want to risk losing it. And you know what I mean? It's just like, I don't want to lose my cash either. But at the same time, it's not going to be, I'll be pissed, but it won't be the end of the world. So I just don't think about it. I don't sweat it. It's like, if somebody wants your stuff bad enough, they're going to get it. And so I'm going to be smart and I'm going to be careful. And, and I'm going to have a good time. I'm not going to be sitting there worrying about all of that all the time. I want to have a good time with my friends, and buy cards. So sorry, that was just a extra bonus discussion.
You're right.
I think that's a great attitude, and frankly, I wish that were everybody's attitude. And the reason I bring it up is because we had that kind of experience in Strongsville. Nobody got none of the dealers got, but there was the whole thing at the hotel. But for Ash, who we all know well, to get hit like this is really kind of a gut punch for everyone. And for me, it kind of hooked me up to the issue.
Totally sucks.
Yeah. So moving from the real bummer concern to something that should be kind of fun for us. Last time I did a national was Atlantic City, and I did like 6 different autographs, all Hall of Famers, all people that I was happy to. Well, actually, Rico Petrocelli's not a Hall of Famer, but happy to meet them. Great experience, and I've done autographs at many different shows over the years. So this national, I'm actually going to do autographs for the first time in a while. Mike, I know you have a connection with it. TriStar, is that who it is? What's your?
I have a wholesale account with TriStar, so I get. It's not significant. It used to be way more significant, the discount the wholesalers got versus. And I had a much larger list of autographs I was going to get. Let's take Piazza. I was going to do a couple of Piazza items. Well, I found out from my contact at TriStar that because he's a Fanatics guy, that he will not. Basically, trading cards are full price. Like you got to pay full price, which I'm like, no, I'm good. Scratch him off. And I started eliminating these guys. Cal Ripken was no non-licensed item. So my custom Perez Steel that I want to get signed by Cal Ripken, he won't do at the show because it's a non-licensed item. It's a custom item. Yeah. So, okay, check that off the list. Then, by the grace of God, no doubt, a guy started on Instagram getting a hold of me. He got in touch. He started working with this guy that does Diamond Kings autographs, and all these ones I was going to get and pay for, I'm getting for a fifth of the price that I already done, and I don't have to do it. And I'm like, sold. Like it was easy. Those were easy decisions, some of which have already come in, some of which are going to be coming in while I'm gone. So my list got pared down significantly. And then it ultimately came to who did I really want, and it was, well, I'm getting if you watch my video, I did it, but the custom of Mariano Rivera, which is going to look so sweet.
Oh, that's beautiful.
But $291, I think he is, or whatever. And I think I paid.
Oh, jeez.
He's $291 sticker, I think, and I'm paying. I don't even have it on that list. Maybe $270. Like it wasn't like a lot off, but it was something. And all mine get done in the back. I don't sit in the lines. That was another thing. There was Johnny. No, who was it? One of the guys I have to stand in line. I think it's Johnny Bench. Actually, I'm getting this done.
Yeah, I'm getting a bench done. I collect the 1970 set autographs. I'm about 320 cards in, and I didn't get this done at Atlantic City because he was so expensive that it was going to cost me so much money to do 2 cards. So I got the flagship done. I didn't get the All-Star done, but he was so nice, Bench. He was like, shook my hand, looked me in the eye. We talked. He was like taking pictures with kids and, inviting people to come over. And he was really, really quite gregarious. So I figured, you know what? Let me pay another 100 and whatever it is for Bench.
120. I'm paying 121 for.
Yeah. I think, I don't know what I'm paying, but it's one something. The other one I'm doing Ozzie Smith. Well, Ozzie Smith is only $83, and the rookie card is not more money than anything else. So it's just like any other card. So this is not really a gradable card. It's like a pretty badly off center. But it's a pretty sharp card. So I'm going to get it autographed by Ozzie, and then I'll get it graded by, I don't know, maybe the JSA CGC people or PSA. I'm not sure. Orlando, you doing any autos this year?
No, I really don't do any autos as far as, just get them autographed. I'll buy autograph stuff. But I used to do a lot in the 80s and 90s, back in the good old days.
Yeah.
I remember paying, Bob Feller charged $5, and I think I paid $50 for a Mickey Mantle autograph back in the days. So, but, and I got all the guys from the, 40s, 50s, and 60s, from DiMaggio, Williams, all those guys I've got already. And I haven't really moved on past the modern guys. And there are some modern guys that I do like, and I just go out and just buy the card at this point. It's probably a lot cheaper. It is a lot cheaper. But what I am looking for, that I look for every year, is my football autographs. I have, just like the Perez Steel, I have the goal line art cards that I've been trying to put together that set forever. And it's kind of like the longest running. I think they started in '86 and they finished in like 2016. And it's just like Gary Thomas draws them up. And so I've been collecting those for a long time. And last year I did pick up the Walter Payton that I needed that autographed, and a couple other guys. So I've got now 226 Hall of Fame football autographed on the Goal Line Art series. So there's still a few that I'm looking for that are really tough to find. You know, like Al Davis, for example, that it's a guy that didn't sign much, didn't do shows, and the Raiders. So Al Davis and a few other guys that are really tough. And I need some modern guys that are just too expensive, like Michael Strahan. Those guys ask a fortune just to sign those things. So hopefully I can pick some up already signed cheap, some of those guys, and continue my journey. I need probably another about 25 or so to have all the possible autographed. Then I may do one day kind of like what some guys do, like Jake, is get some autograph, like Jim Thorpe, for example. I'd love to get a Jim Thorpe autograph, maybe cut it out and put it on one of those goal line art like Jake does, But some of those guys, that Bronco Nagurski, some of those old football players, they would have never signed. But for the most part, I've got 226 already done.
Nice.
That's another project I've got on the list. I've got a whole list of what I need to get.
Any orders for you at this show, Matt?
No, not this show. My wife's a big Niners fan, so last year we did Montana. She had a helmet that she had Rice signed, like, I don't know, almost 20 years ago, and she brought that to get Montana added to it. But it was literally 3 hours of the Saturday. And I thought Thursday and Friday were hot until I got to the autograph pavilion. It was so crowded. So hopefully it's much better for you, Dan. And obviously, Mike, if you're doing bench in person, but last year was not great. I don't know if you guys were able to. I didn't know about there's a way to get priority access where you kind of skip the line a little bit. I would have paid for it if I'd have known.
I have the VIP, which I think does something, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
No.
There's like an all access one for like the autographs specifically, I think, that's on top of it. But anyway, if anyone's looking and they're able to get one of those, that's the way to do it if you're going to do it. But yeah, we're not going to do any autographs this year. In fact, I have some. We'll have plenty of extra VIP autos. If anyone wants any of the players that are free, let me know. Find me at the show. I'll give you my tickets. They're going to waste otherwise, so let me know.
Hey, Dan, I'm going to be your best friend. Whenever bench is going, find me, and because I've got an inside to get right to the front. So I'm not going to I don't like to waste my time. Like Matt said, my floor time is valuable time, right? So There's only so much of it, and I really try to be cognizant of that. So I'm going to literally walk up and get right in. So find me and we'll do bench together and we'll get right in.
Friday at 1, maybe? I forget. Yeah. He and Ozzy are right. Like one's at 11, one's at 1. I forget. But they're both Friday.
You can stay in Ozzy's line and then find me and we'll go right to bench's line. We'll get them done. And
I knew that doing this live stream would work out well for me.
Paying dividends already.
I've got a hookup for you, Dan. So
all right, hookups. That's what it's all about. I'm really looking forward to this Thursday night event because Chris from Missouri did the Strongsville event, which had maybe 50 people, and that was such a great time. And this is like 5 times the size of that, right? You got like maybe 250 people, Mike?
Yeah, it was crazy. Last year blew my mind how many people showed up, and it wasn't all at once, but over the course of the evening, guys. Chicago's so conducive to guys going to a trade night and then or they're at their hotel walking around the lobby and then they walk over to the get together and hang out for a little bit and then back and forth and so this is going to be different because it's you got to drive everywhere in Cleveland. There's nowhere you can walk to, so this isn't far. It's a 4-minute drive from the IX Center to the American Legion where this is going to happen. So I don't know what it's going to be like. I don't know how many people are going. I don't know because I don't do RSVPs or take attendance or any of that stuff, but because it's kind of like just come, you know, and even if it's a come and go thing, right? You don't have to stay the whole time, but there will be.
Yeah, our house has got already lined up the designated drivers because we have a few guys that don't drink at all. So I'm gonna have to drive back from the show to the Airbnb and catch a ride in the back seat of somebody's car. So looking forward to that.
There will be a cash bar. So
yes. So the question that I had for you guys, each of you, is there a YouTuber or anyone who you haven't yet met who you're really looking forward to meeting at the show or maybe just Thursday night? How about you, Matt?
I mean, there's so many people I want to meet, right? But I think like it's hard to pick one person, right? So I'd like to meet Lou Rock. I know I wasn't able to go last year, so I think I'm looking forward to Lou Rock. He's just someone who has a fun personality. I know I watched him at. I think a lot of you guys went to his house. I think last Orlando with the card show to him, and I know he's at the National in 22 at Atlantic City. So I'm looking forward to meeting. I mean, there's so many people. I hate to just pick one, but I'm gonna go with that one.
Orlando?
Like Matt said, there's just so many people. I've met many of them already, but I'd like to meet Alex Bowman 53.
Yeah, he's in our house. So if you want to, hang out with him a little more, just come over to the house.
Yeah.
Mike, any particular people who you've not met who you're looking forward to meeting?
Honestly, I mean, I'm looking at the chat. I'm like going, oh, is there anybody here? Nope, met them all. I think I'm the community Rolodex. Seriously. And I mean that in a good way. I love that that's true, that I've gotten to meet so many people. There's people that I want to spend more time with. Orlando's at the top of that list.
Totally.
That I
Thank
can,
you. Same here.
Sitting down with him and just picking his brain and just shooting the bull, man. Orlando is one of those guys that I never get tired of talking to, and we have a lot in common. Orlando and I have secret commonalities, like our love for Perez Steels, and like we have stuff beyond just the stuff you might see on his channel every day. And so we think very similarly, and I think I'm part Cuban also, so that also connects us in a way. But yeah, I mean, it's so hard to spend time with people because especially Thursday night, there's going to be 100 people in the room that
yeah,
at least that they may not know you, but you're going to know them, and you're going to want to say hi. And I mean, if you spent 3 minutes with each one of those people, there's your evening, or what. And it's very difficult, hard for me to do more than a high five or a fist pump or with people. And it's not because I'm trying to be rude at all. I'm just trying to work the room, I guess, in a way. And I'm not even running for office. So I'm just.
Well, I was going to say that Chris from Missouri was the mayor of Strongsville. I think everybody voted for him. Mike, I think you might be the mayor of the National for the community.
Well,
so anyway,
Dan, I'll add one more person that I'm anxious to see that I didn't really get a chance to talk to, and that's Dr. Beckett.
Okay.
I kind of saw him at a glance, didn't even go up to him to get his autograph. And at the show, I saw him going through dollar boxes, and I didn't want to bother him. But this time, I'm going to make sure I go and I say hello and spend at least a couple minutes with Dr. Beckett. He's been my idol for my entire collecting life. So I got to get him. And I got his card for him to autograph for me and everything.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Dr. Beckett will be there. Jeremy Lee will be there. I'm trying to think of big Chris Sewell will be there. Orlando will be there. I'm talking about big YouTube. Like we're talking big YouTubers now.
Huge, yeah.
I have two guys that I want to meet for the first time. One is Mangini, who I know you've all met. His channel to me is just I literally watch every video, and I can't say that about everybody else. Sometimes I miss a video here or there, but at Mangini, every single one of them. And I think he's got a great sense of humor, and he's got such a outlandish personality, and he has such card knowledge. So I really want to meet Mangini. The other one is Mike Junkwax Hero, who I have gotten to know pretty well back and forth, messaging and comments and like in chats and stuff. And we've never met, but I feel like we have sort of a simpatico sense of humor. And so Mike is one of those guys that I really want to meet.
Have you met John Keating before?
Yeah.
Okay.
John and I had quite a number of conversations in Strongsville, almost all about music. We didn't talk about cards really at all, which is kind of funny because we're both music background people. I've met Chris Sewell, but I've never talked to him extensively. I've met him 3 times at different shows. Jeremy Donson is going to be there also, and I'd like to talk to Jeremy.
The Texas Snowman.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, there's a lot of, I mean, I think it's going to be one of those things where the time goes by before you get to do everything you want, but, you know, at least I get to see a couple of people that I really want to talk to for a while.
It is the event. And I don't mean that it's self-promoting. I mean that people tell me that it is Mike Junk's like hero. Like, this is the only reason I'm going to the National is to go to the Thursday night get together, because it's the greatest family reunion. It's like everybody, and it's no big. I literally just started it by going, hey, let's all meet at this time at this place, just to give us at least one linchpin thing on the calendar where we can all say we're all going to try to go to this deal. You know, there's another one on Friday night. If you miss Thursday, you can go Friday at Filmington and Silver Jackify's deal. That's going to be great. It's just, this has become what I really look forward to is hanging out and seeing so many people. There's going to be people there that only watch, you know, and they're going to come up to you and say hello, and they're going to be like, Dan, I love your stuff. And you're like, thanks. And your name, you know, I mean,
I got a little of that at Strongsville, a little bit.
Yeah. See, that's good stuff. That's what this community is about.
White Plains also, a couple of people at White Plains, the most recent show, because my sub numbers are getting up there, so I'm sort of feeling like I'm making an impact. We have a Friday night event also. I think Matt and Orlando are going to this. It's Ash is hosting it. It's a whole big room in a restaurant with barbecue, and we pay in advance, and it's like all you can eat kind of thing. I think there's about 40 YouTube people going to that. So we're not going to be going to this Silver Jackify thing. Or I know, Mike, you're doing the Perez Steel, the documentary, and then
the Diamond King. The Diamond King on
Diamond King.
Perez. Yeah.
So we're all gonna have fun at the National, but we're in Cleveland. So my next question was other fun non-national things that you're going to do in Cleveland. Matt?
Yep. So we mentioned at the beginning, we get it on Tuesday. A few of us do, right? So a few folks from our house are going to get together and go to the Guardians Tigers baseball game that night. So we saw 2 games when we were in the National and Chicago last year. Went to a Brewers game the night we got there with Dave and Legends of the Dugout and his son Grayson. And then we got to see the Saturday night game with a bunch of YouTubers at the White Sox game, right? So we're trying to make that an annual thing. We go to some baseball games, at least one every year. So that's kind of our thing on Tuesday. And then I know I mentioned Dave just a second ago. If you see him later in the week, wish him happy birthday. If you don't see him on Tuesday, his birthday's Tuesday. So kind of a little combo effort on Tuesday night. We're all going to get there together. And a few of us are going from the house. I think there's 4 of us from the house going, so it should be fun.
Orlando, any Cleveland events you're thinking about doing?
Not really. I mean, I thought about going to the game, but see, my problem is I'm getting in there Wednesday afternoon.
Right.
So I'm just going to go straight from the airport to the show. I have a few people. You were talking about, the people that leave comments and stuff, and it's great because a lot of my, I guess, viewers to my channel, whatever you want to call them, they're friends. A lot of my friends that I've never met have reached out to me. And I already have, I think, like 4 deals that I've done with people that I've never met, that have been following my channel for a long time. Well, one of them, I did some stuff with them in Strongsville, but I'm going to meet up with some of those, hopefully, when I get there. And most of my cash is coming from those trades. So I want to get some of that cash. So then Thursday morning, I'm there, first thing. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now. Yeah, it's payback time, and I've got a deal already set, a trade I already did there too. So not only cash, but I got a nice card coming, and I won't say what it is yet.
Nice, Mike. What non-national Cleveland stuff are you going to do? Anything?
Well, we had talked about going to Canton. That was our original plan, was to go to Canton on Tuesday. I've never been to the Football Hall of Fame. Would love to do that. But truthfully, we don't get there Tuesday till 11. Our flight lands at 11. You know, you start adding time, it closes at 6, and we found out it was $45 a person to get in, and we'd be there maybe 2 or 3 hours, and that just felt, you know, it's a little over an hour to drive there, which isn't like terrible. I do have some friends going Tuesday to the Pittsburgh game because the Pirates are in town, and that's about a 3-hour drive, 2.5, something like that. So that I was like, nah, you know, because by the time you get home, and you got to remember, you got the rest of the week, right? There's obviously the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I've been there several times.
Yep.
It's worth going if you've never been. I wouldn't go again, but I also have already been twice. So to me, that's not like, if it was the Baseball Hall of Fame, I'd go every time I was in town, but I like it and respect it, but I'm like, nah, I don't need to do that again. But there's always, you know, we'll probably hit a casino Tuesday night, you know, and do some gambling.
So I have been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It was better than I expected it to be, but I don't need to go back again. I'm not getting into Wednesday like early afternoon, so I'm not going to be able to get to the game. But when Matt gave me the address for the Airbnb, I pulled it up on Google Maps, and the first thing that popped up, like literally like a tiny inch away on the Google Maps, was the house for a Christmas Story, a movie that came out in 1983 that I watch every single year on over and over and over again. It's my number one Christmas movie. But the house, the literal house, is a museum now, and it's about 10 minutes away from where we are. So I am definitely going to a Christmas Story house. I know Alex Bowman 53 is asked to come along with me, and I will allow anybody wants to come with me that we can go. And I will not leave there without a leg lamp. And I know they have leg lamps available in the gift shop. So one of my major purchases at the National this year, it won't just be a card, it will be a leg lamp. And I know that it's fragile, so I'm going to be careful with it.
Yeah, it's fragile. You got to be careful with that sucker.
So we have, all right. So I'm down to one question, but it's a good one, and it's putting you on the spot. And it's, what single card or memorabilia or whatever it is, what single item are you refusing to leave Cleveland without? Mike.
A Mariano Rivera autograph. No, the card I really want, that's kind of number one on my list, which I try to not go to shows with a list. I really want to let the show come to me. I've bought so many things spur of the moment, you know, just seeing it and thinking it was cool. And that's how I do like to buy cards that way. But I do have a list of cards that I want to add to my collection. And I would say number one for me, 49 Leaf Joe DiMaggio is the card that I really think I can find at the grade that I want, the eye appeal that I want, and the price, the value, you know, price point. So that's kind of that would be the one that if I left without it, I'd probably be a little disappointed. But it also depends on what else is in my bag. You know, I mean, if I got some other stuff and I wasn't able to get, I might be singing a different tune, but that's the card I'm going in thinking I really want to leave with that card.
Orlando.
I'm looking for a nice Walter Johnson card. You know, the one I'd love to have is the Ramley, but that's going to be out of my price range. So probably either the portrait T206 or maybe even a T205. I may even look for the Christy Mathewson T205, which is a beautiful card, and I don't have that one. So just a few things I'm looking for. Maybe you know, if I see a nice Ty Cobb green and a low one, you know, one, something like that, I may go for that. Or, you know, a Hannes Wagner, maybe a cheap one, or, you know, something that I can afford that, you know, maybe has a photo of Wagner, not one of those little strip cards or anything that's kind of like a drawing, but just one of those old pre-war Hall of Famers, just one good card from any of those guys, I'll be more than happy.
You got was it the red Ty Cobb?
Yeah, I have the
Bronzeville?
red. Yeah,
Yeah, that
and I
was
also I have the T205, but I'd like to add one more. But I just need, I want to get a good Walter Johnson. I may even get a Cy Young too. If I see a nice Cy Young, go with that. But just one of those all-time Hall of Famers, nice pre-war card from any of those guys.
Matt, card you're not leaving Cleveland without.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can get a Babe Ruth item. The one I'm looking for specifically is the 34 Quaker Oats Premium. I like to have oversized items in my collection. So if I can find a nice one in a good price range, that's what I'm looking for ideally. But I have some backup plans with some other cards that I like as well, right? So maybe like a authentic or one like Sports Kings. I love that card too, but that'd be super low grade. So we'll see what's out there. I want to keep my options open a little bit, but there was only one, or actually there were two of the Quaker Oats and Strongsville, but they were very, very proud of them. One of them had the envelope and stuff, so I get it. They wanted like 4,000. So we'll see. I'm open to seeing how let the show come to me a little bit, but I'd like to get a Babe Ruth item. Last year we got the Cobb, or Ty got the Cobb, right? So I'd like to get a Ruth and kind of keep that streak going of a inner circle inaugural class Hall of Famer if we could.
Are you going to pay with a check?
No. No. Last try I used Venmo or PayPal, and Stan took it. So that's why I know there's options.
Petty's still here?
PayPal.
I don't know if Mike Petty's still in the chat, but
I'm sure he's in the chat.
Card with the,
Yeah.
so
He had
I
to like dig around
uh,
for that check in his backpack too. I remember that. He couldn't find it, right? He's like, I can't find my
you know,
check.
Yeah,
I held it.
he thought he left it.
We were in a Chick-fil-A and I was holding it. I didn't run away though. I gave it back to him. So these are 9 cards of 1939 play ball Yankees. That leaves me with 2 more to go. One is Phil Dickey, who I will not have a problem finding. I've been a little picky about it, picky with the Dickey, trying to get the right.
This is a family show. Come on.
It's almost after hours. It's okay.
The right eye appeal for the right price with the right grade. And I've sort of come of some of them. But so I'll get the Dickey. That's not going to be a problem. But 39 play ball Joe DiMaggio is the card that I am not leaving Cleveland without. I left Strongsville without it. I'm not leaving Cleveland without it. So that will complete my 1939 Yankees. And I suspect Mike is about to show us. Oh, wonderful.
Nice.
That card?
Yes, that's one of the cards, but the DiMaggio is the one that I'm really not.
Well, the DiMaggio's in the safe. Come on, man. I don't have DiMaggio out here with all the common players like Bill Dickey.
You got it.
And Matt's been here. He knows that Matt's been to this house. He's been to this card room. So
It's fortified, guys. Don't go in there.
yeah,
Oh,
there's a Gatling gun ready. It's motion
There's
sensor.
turrets everywhere. You don't want to go.
Yeah, you don't want to. But
camera.
there's the card Dan's looking for right there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, nice.
So, but first things first. The moment you walk into, and I have the VIP, and if I get there on time, I'm going to do the thing where you exchange your ticket for your badge and all that stuff, and get a drink or two, and then go out on the floor. I think it's 3:30. They're letting us on the floor. First thing you're doing when you get on the floor at 3:30, let's say, if you make it that time. Orlando, what do you think?
First thing I do, I'm shooting video. Unfortunately, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to walk in and I'm going to just walk the aisle, shoot a little bit of video there. And that kind of gives me a kind of a look for, what's going on. And I go towards where I know the vintage tables are going to be. And those I know they're going to be in one section because they're having, the TriStar section, autograph section, that's all going to be one area. Right next to that's going to be all the Breakers Pavilion, all that kind of stuff. And then on the other side, where PSA is and stuff, that's where they're going to have a lot of the big dealers. And when you walk, I was looking at the whole floor plan, so I'm kind of already set I know where to go. But when you walk in, it's going to be like the auction houses and stuff, and some of the dealers there. And you can get some dealers that have vintage on the left, but most of them are going to be to your right as you walk in. So I'm going to be kind of heading towards that area and checking out the vintage tables. And as I film them, I'm looking for cards that I'm going to look for. That's kind of what I do.
Matt, your first thing when you get in the room.
I'm gonna stop at PSA and pay the PSA master set or registry set tax that we all pay, or me and Mike pay anyway. I mean, I know the 129 price seems crazy, but it's the same price as using that price level or value level through the mail. And I don't have to drop them off. I can get them back at the show, like up to $2,500 value. So I have a few cards that are close to that value that I'm going to drop off and get back. I'm gonna be dropping off like a crossover sub just to like leave with them, just to like the normal. One less time in the mail is better for me. So let them transport them. They have a safe there. So we're making 2 submissions to PSA at least, and then one for site, one to get back in the mail later. So I want to get to kind of the point about security. I want to get them off my body as soon as I can, right? And in PSA's secure area, right? So that's my goal. My backpack will be lighter too.
SGC is not grading on site, but they're taking back, so that's all right. I mean, I don't have a full submission. I got about maybe 8 cards in my office that I send out when I get up to about 15. So by the time I get back from the national, that's what I'm sending. Mike, what's your first time you step into the room? What are we doing?
Well, I'll be there on the floor Tuesday afternoon. I got to go pick up some badges and stuff that I've got. It's been, by the way, talk about just difficult to get vendor badges and things that I used to be able to get as many as I wanted, really, for people. And now I was able to get 1, so I'm going to go pick that up, and that'll allow me to walk the floor a little bit Tuesday afternoon and just kind of get a lay of the land a little bit. I may peruse some cards, but my real kind of magic hour is Wednesday morning. They'll open the floor at 8 to let the vendors finish, setting up. And that's by the time 3:30 comes around, I'll have my DiMaggio. I can almost guarantee it by the time the floor opens at 3:30 to the public. And so that window of time is awesome because there's only dealers typically in there. It's just, and I don't care what I have to, if I have to pay what I have to, they don't give, they don't give deals. I think that's a crock. Honestly, I've gotten great deals Wednesday morning, as good a deals as I would have gotten Saturday afternoon, quite frankly. And I always say it, but I like having all the choices available. All the DiMaggios that are going to be there Wednesday morning, right? And they're picked through and figured out. And so that's just an example. So the first thing I'll do is go to Craig's table, Craig Halbig, who's my buddy, and because he'll be back in that vintage area, and so where Orlando's talking about. I have also scoped out. I think anybody should look at the NSCC website. Go look at the floor plan. All the dealers are there now. You can see who's going to be where. If you have a particular dealer that you really like, find out where they are. And I'm very methodical in going through the show, so I want to make sure I see, or at least try to see, every table. And so I'll start in a corner and work my way literally aisle by aisle. And I'll start in that vintage area. Like Orlando said, there's plenty of tables I'll be able just to zoom by because they don't have any vintage. That's fine, which makes my life easier. But I'll have the DiMaggio bought before Wednesday, 3:30.
Well, I got my 49 leaf DiMaggio in Chantilly, Mike, which is the first time I ever met you.
It's 49 leaf, but whatever.
What did I say?
It is 49, Dan.
49 leaf, right? What did I say? 48?
You did say 48. It's okay. It's
49.
an easy Freudian
It's
slip.
not okay. It pisses me off when he says it.
I'm sending you my Chantilly vibes to be able to get a deal on that card. You'll be able to do it.
I'm bringing them to me. I'm bringing them in.
I should say that I know the booth number of Chris Sewell and Jeremy Donson because they said it last night on their live stream. It's number 420. So I'm pretty sure Chris and Jeremy are going to be high rollers in the 420 booth.
Pun intended.
Did that go over everybody's head?
I got it.
It just wasn't funny. We understood what you said. It just no. I'm just kidding.
It's not legal in Texas, right, Mike? No, I'm kidding.
They can't all land. Bill Chappell is the guy that I'm going to go first to, and I've already mapped him out. Bill Chappell traditionally will have boxes filled with pre-war ungraded, and you can get bargains in there, and you can get oddballs in there, and you can get cards that are gradable He just hasn't graded them. Like half of these, like at least 2 of these 39 play balls came from his boxes, and they came back at like 4s or 5s, and I got them for like $20. So pre-war in his boxes, and by the time I got to them in Strongsville, he had been picked through already. So that's where I'm going first. And like you said, there's the map of the dealers with the numbers, but they don't have the dealer names. You have to correspond that to the list of who has what number. So you got to have 2 screens open. You got to have your numbers, and then you got to have your map.
Dan, they have an interactive map.
Yeah, the
On
map
go
now. Here, I'll pull it up. I'm pulling it up.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay.
So I'm going to share my screen. Here you go. Share. By the way, this will work on your iPhone too.
Yes.
So, you can zoom in, scroll around. Here's PSA. So where Orlando's talking about is back in here. This area will be vintage. Okay. But you can literally type in whomever. Here, I'll scroll out. I mean, it's a huge floor. Look at this. This is going to be gigantic. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, we agree.
I mean, we're talking, you gotta, if you've ever been to a national, this PSA area is huge.
Yeah, it's carpeted too. So,
and it doesn't look very big on the map. So my point is like, this is going to be a massive show.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I've been to Cleveland twice for the national, but not under the new IX Center that's been completely remodeled. It's totally different. So this will be like going to a new show. And I'm excited to see how they've got it configured. There's stuff, downstairs, and who knows, you got all the corporate stuff here. I'm glad they kind of moved it to the back. I mean, Orlando and Matt, think about all of us walking through all these aisles of just dealer after dealer. It's going to be like heaven.
I can't wait.
I mean, it's going to be awesome. And I'm glad they kind of corral all of the corporate stuff into certain areas. So you're not.
Fanatics and Panini, all that stuff is back there. And all the breakers are in that corner. So.
And good for them. But I want to see, I just want table after table of awesome. Right. Mm-hmm. And so this feels like this is what this is going to be. I know Holly and Craig, let's see, like we can look up how big. Like there he is. So he's at 143 and 1. So I can click there and it'll show, oh, there's how big.
Nice.
And I can click on any of these tables and see.
Yeah, you can click there and see all the ones that are there, and Ash is around that a little bit further down, but you can see, and along the wall, there's a lot of vintage guys we know right along that wall up there too.
What is Ash's? What's Ash's thing again?
Legacy cards, but he's more towards kind of the middle. There's something there in the middle, like
right here.
Yeah, there.
So yeah, this whole area, we'll see a lot of.
Where's Stan at?
You got Chapel back there and a bunch of other guys. Back around that area somewhere.
So Stan's down here.
Oh, there's Stan. Oh, he's on the other side. Okay.
Huh.
Yeah, I think this area here in the center is going to be a great meeting. Like, hey, I'll meet you in the middle. If you're talking to guys on the phone or texting.
Yeah, I think some of that is auction house. Auction house is going to be around there, I think.
Well, there's a lot of that down here. You got Pristine and REA and SGC's down here in the corner. Nobody puts baby in the corner, but they do here. But I mean, this map can be on your phone while you're at the show. Like, it's super easy. So that's just something different this year. I'm glad they finally caught up with technology to have some of these cool things. And
is that on their website?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed it. Okay.
Well, let me tell you where it is, because it's not. You got to kind of look for it. Let me get back there again. If you go to nsccshow.com, if you go under Cleveland 2024, there is a new interactive map. It's the second thing down on the pull down menu, and it's right there. So
there's supposed to be an app app from the company Ludex or something like that did an app, but I don't download apps and stuff like that. But supposedly they have that where you can actually download the app and have it everything on an app. But like Mike said, you could just look it up at the website. You go down there, you look at the interactive map, and you got it all right there too.
Hopefully the Wi-Fi will be good.
Yes, they upgraded to I heard a 10 gigabyte Wi-Fi, and they just recently added that. And the stuff with all the air conditioning stuff that's been fixed. What happened was they rented the place like a week prior, and I think this weekend, I think they've already put all the major stuff in there. What happened was last time is they opened all the big doors, and they've already loaded all the stuff in there. All of the big major stuff is being done. Now it's just setting it up inside with all the doors closed, and supposedly they've checked all the ACs and everything's been, updated and cleaned and new filters, whatever they needed to fix that. But they said there's a lot less doors that there was in Chicago, and they're smaller doors, and they're not going to be open anymore, just the dealers carrying in cards at this point.
Well, gentlemen, we've reached the witching hour of almost 10 o'clock Eastern, and I just wanted to thank all three of you for doing this. The final live stream about the National, we promise. And providing me with information. I mean, I didn't know there was that interactive map, and I hope our chat picked up on that too. So thank you for that, Mike. I'm definitely going to take you up on the Johnny Bench cutting the line thing. And gentlemen, Orlando, I hope to walk the floor with you, and Matt, of course, you'll have to listen to me snore at night. So
likewise, right back at you.
Unless we're on different floors.
Get surround sound going.
This is the house where 4 different people have CPAPs. So I encourage Team CPAP shirts, but I don't think it happened.
No traction.
We'll see. So anyway, any last words, Matt?
No, I mean, I just look forward to seeing everyone. If you haven't ever been, you're thinking about going, it may be too late for this week, but start planning next year and make sure you go. I went once, and I never plan to miss another one unless there's some kind of family emergency, quite honestly.
Right.
Orlando, any final thoughts, final words?
Mike, you and me, 15 minutes alone.
Well, principal's office.
And Mike, any final thoughts for the mayor of the National?
I hope everybody that is thinking about coming Thursday shows up, and I think it'll be surprisingly awesome. If you haven't been, you'll be. I think it'll be your highlight of your show.
And with that, For Collectors live stream is going to end. We will see you guys in a few days.
Keep collecting.